Hi friends, today's story is called Fossils Tale of Long Ago by Akiki. Do you know what a fossil is? I wonder if our story will tell us. Notice on the cover, I see dinosaurs and I see some, looks like rocks, doesn't it? Let's see what it says. It's the title page, Fossils Tale of Long Ago by Akiki. This is the dedication page. Once upon a time, a huge fish was swimming around when along came a smaller fish. The big fish was so hungry, it swallowed the other fish whole. The big fish died and sank to the bottom of the sea. This happened 90 million years ago. How do we know? We know because the fish turned to stone. The fish became a fossil. A plant or animal that is turned to stone is called a fossil. Scientists can tell how old stones are. They could tell how old the fish fossil was. It says nobody knows why it died. It's called Xiphaectomus. Wow, that's some catch. The fossil is bigger than me. How did the fish become a fossil? Most animals and plants do not become fossils when they die. Some rot. So here it is on the side rotting and he goes P-U. Others dry up, crumble, and blow away. No trace of them is left. This could have happened to the big fish. We would never know it had lived. Instead, the fish became a fossil. This is how it happened. When the big fish died, it sank to the mud at the bottom of the sea. Slowly, the soft parts of the fish rotted away. Only its hard bones were left. The bones of the fish it had eaten were left too. The skeleton of the fish lay buried and protected deep in the mud. So here he is going down. Here he is in the mud. Thousands of years went by. More layers of mud covered the fish. Tons and tons of mud piled up. After a long time, the surface of the earth changed. The sea where the fish was buried dried out. See how the water gets smaller, and here he is, still under there in the mud. The weight of the layers of mud pressed down. Slowly, the mud turned to rock. As that happened, groundwater seeped through the changing layers of mud. Minerals were dissolved in the water. The water seeped into all the tiny holes in the fish bones. The minerals in the water were left behind in the fish bones. After a very long time, the bones turned to stone. The fish was a fossil. Some fossils, like the fish, are actual parts of plants or animals. They have turned to stone. Sometimes a fossil is only an imprint of a plant or animal. Millions of years ago, a leaf fell off a fern-like plant. It dropped onto the swampy forest soil, which is called peat. The leaf rotted away, but it left the mark of its shape in the peat. The peat, with the imprint of the leaf, hardened. It became a rock called coal. Coal is a fossil too. So here's the leaf. And it says peat is made up of mushy, rotted leaves. We use peat in the garden to make plants grow. Here's a picture. It says, look how perfect the leaf looks. Lots of other things have been found in coal, even dinosaurs. Here's a different fossil. It says this shell was buried whole, but when the scientists split the rock, the shell crumbled away. This is only its imprint. Here's the other half. These are dinosaur tracks. They were made in fresh mud 150 million years ago. Sand filled the dinosaurs' footprints in the mud. It's iguanodon. The sand hardened into a rock called sandstone. Millions of years later, fossil hunters dug through the rock. They found the fossil tracks, exact imprints of the dinosaur's foot. These footprints tell us a lot about Iguanodon. Scientists can tell how big it was, and how fast it moved, and that it walked on two legs. Not all fossils are found in stone. Some are found in the frozen ground of the Arctic. This ancient mammoth was a kind of elephant. It froze to death thousands of years ago. The grass it had been eating was still in its mouth. The famous mammoth found accidentally in 1901 in Siberia. Part of it was showing through the melted ice. Scientists found pounds of grass and moss in its stomach. The mammoth was fresh enough to eat. I wouldn't dare. So its meat was frozen. It's frozen in ice. Millions of years ago, a fly was caught in the sticky sap of a tree. The sap hardened and became a fossil called amber. Amber looks like yellow glass. The fly was perfectly preserved in the amber. Other insects have been preserved in amber too. My mother has an amber necklace. Here's the fly, and a spider, ants, a cockroach. They all got stuck in the sticky sap. We have learned many things from the fish, the fern, the fly, and the dinosaur tracks. Fossils tell us about the past. Fossils tell us there once were forests where now there are deserts. Fossils of these plants and animals were found in that desert. That's the painted desert and the petrified forest. I've been there. Petrified means turned to stone. Wow, a fossil forest. Fossils tell us there once were seas where now there are mountains. These fossils of sea creatures were found on mountains. The earth has changed a lot since then. Many lands that are cold today were once warm. We find fossils of tropical plants in very cold places. Fossils tell us about strange creatures that lived on Earth long ago. No such creatures are alive today. They have all died out. We say they are extinct. That's pterodon, the flying reptile. Here's an ichthyosaurus. It was quite a swimmer. I love museums. Dinosaur bones. It's Stegosaurus. Some fossils are found by scientists who dig for them. Look, there's the fish it ate too. And they say nothing ever happens in Kansas. This is a great find. So they're using brushes and shovels, but they have to be very careful. Some fossils are found by accident. You too might find a fossil if you look hard. When you see a stone, look at it carefully. It may be a fossil of something that once lived. I found this fossil at the seashore. Lucky. It says you can find fossils in the woods too, or where they just dug in a new road, or up in the mountains. We saw fossils in the marble walls of a big building. Marble is polished limestone, where many fossils have been found. She says, I want to find a fossil. How would you like to make a fossil? Not a 1 million year old fossil, a 1 minute old fossil. Make a clay imprint of your hand. First, you take some clay, then you flatten it out, then you press your hand in the clay, then lift your hand away. The imprint shows what your hand is like, the way a dinosaur's track shows us what its foot was like. My handprint. You old fossil, you. This is fun. Wonder if you could make a fossil today. Suppose when it dried out, you buried your clay imprint. Suppose 1 million years from now someone found it. Your imprint would be as hard as stone. It would be a fossil of your hand. It would tell the finder something about you. It would tell something about life on Earth a million years earlier. I hereby bury you, fossil. Someone would know all about me, how big I am, how many fingers I have, that I go to school and take dance lessons and play the piano and sing and read books and love avocados. Here lie two fossils. Every time someone finds a fossil, we learn more about life on Earth long ago. Someday you may find a fossil, one that is millions and millions of years old. You may discover something no one knows today. I wonder what people will look like in a million years from now. Find anything yet? I hope that you can explore and maybe you can find a fossil. Who knows? Happy exploring. Have a great day, friends.